Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video, and for this one it's something a bit different because we're not doing a passenger run, we're not doing a freight run either. We are doing some track maintenance. Now I have done a video about track maintenance before. It was quite a while ago. And in that one, I was in the, I'm trying to remember the name of the damn thing, the ballast tamper, that's it. Well, this is quite different. In fact, we are going to be using a piece of equipment which came about as a result of one of the most infamous quotes connected to the British rail network. And once it came along and actually entered service, it was then responsible for perhaps an even more infamous quote. Anyway, if that doesn't make any sense, it will do once we get the video up and running. So for the route, we are on the North London and Goblin lines route DLC. And we're really going to be doing West London and North London together. So we are starting at West London. We are starting at Clapham Junction. Clapham Junction being that station which is in Battersea. Why it's called Clapham Junction, where it's not even in Clapham. Oh well. So we'll be starting there at platform 16, as you can clearly see, and our destination is Stratford. So we're going right the way round. And our train, well, we are in a class 67. It's the Just Trains Advanced class 67. The 67 does get a bit of a sort of, a hard time with me because I keep choosing it on routes where it doesn't really get the chance to shine, because this is another one. This is a train that is capable of it's actually capable of doing 140 mph, but it's restricted to 125, and the last time I used it, I think it was able to do 60 at the most. That was on the Nottingham to Lincoln line. And here, it's the same again. It might get the chance to do 60, more likely it may not even get the chance to go above 50. But, oh well, there we go. It's a custom consist because, we have this particular piece of equipment, the RHTT. If you don't know what that is, then, again, I think you'll have a pretty good idea once we get underway. So as far as the specifics, it's spring, it's cloudy, it's 11 AM. It's absolutely not the sort of time of day that this thing would be out and about. But nevertheless, I've also just got to reconfirm that. Alright, so let's get this up and running. And here we are. So let's get this up and running. Okay. We get the lights sorted out. We'll put the instrument lights on. And yeah, we want the lighting set to daylight. There we go. We'll put the desk light on, but we don't need the cab light. Well, it is a bit sort of like dull and murky in here. Right, we will also set the braking to goods. I don't think we really need to do that, but we'll do it anyway because we're certainly not going to be transporting any passengers. So yeah, here is our Class 67 in this blue livery. I don't recall ever seeing a 67 in this particular livery, but there you go. And yeah, we do have another 67 at the other end. But the important bit is this. This is the RHTT, which stands for Rita Hayworth's Tremendous Tits. And I've got to give up with these. I'll have to give up these stupid yeah, initial things. So this device basically came about after the very infamous "leaves on the line" quote. Lots of trains were being delayed and being held up and all this business, and the reason given for that was that, yeah, leaves on the line, which sounds ridiculous. Believe me, back at the time when this was said, I think it was in the 90s, yeah, it was treated with the derision that it deserved. It was utterly ridiculous. But anyway, we got this new sort of like yeah, piece of equipment, and what its job is basically is to clean the lines, remove these leaves on the line that are, you know, causing the issue. But thinking about it, I should have really set this during autumn when it, you know, would have been particularly needed, but oh well. So yeah, we got this thing, and it started doing, you know, doing the rounds and that, cleaning up the lines. But the reports were that it wasn't doing a very good job of it, and lots of these leaves that were causing delays were still there, and yeah, we were still getting delays. Let me just, I know somewhere in here is the thing to get rid of that. It's not there, not there. Oh, somewhere is the button to isolate. I thought it was up here, but it's not. Aha, here it is, DSD isolation, there we go. Right, that's got rid of that thing. So anyway, get back to what I was talking about with yeah, the old RHTT. Yeah, it wasn't doing a particularly great job of it, and the leaves were still there and the delays were happening, and that was when we got the quote about it, which stated that it was the wrong kind of leaves. And they were absolutely serious about this. Absolute horseshit. They genuinely thought that we would buy this as an excuse, an acceptable reason for, you know, it not working. They really think we are that stupid. So yeah, it apparently wasn't particularly good because it was the wrong kind of leaves. Anyway, one of the reasons why I chose to use Class 67s is that, yeah, we actually have the controls to operate this thing within the 67. It does have a few sort of things that we need to take into account. Firstly, we can't have it running as we're going through stations because anyone on the platforms is likely to end up getting soaked. And we also can't use it if we are doing less than 25 mph, because the water that comes out of here is coming out at such high pressure that it can crack the rails if we're going too slowly, and certainly if we are stationary. So yeah, we've got to be doing at least 25 before we can actually switch this on, and we can't have it running while we are going through any stations. So even though we are not going to be stopping at any of the stations that we are going through, we are going to be going through plenty of them. So this could still be a fairly short run. I mean, it's 18.25 miles to Stratford. So anyway, let's see how we do. Let's get the brakes off, and we can then get underway. So we have a 10 mph limit as we leave Clapham Junction. So we couldn't operate this thing at the moment anyway because we're in the station, but also, yeah, our speed limit is 10 mph. So once we are into this 30 mph zone, then we're all right. We can then activate it. Basically just do our run up to Stratford, cleaning as many of the rails as we possibly can. So we are entering the 30 mph zone. And yeah, we're on 1 in 70 downhill section here. We've got to actually it doesn't matter now because we're now in the 30 zone. Yeah, I've also got to get used to the braking system of the 67. It's not very straightforward. So once we are up to 25, there we go, activate it. See the water now coming out, spraying away, and we are going too quickly. I'm trying to slow us down. There we go. So you can hear the spray, yep, the water sprayer's working. You can see the spray coming out there. So as long as we stick to the line speeds, which I've spectacularly failed to do at the moment, then yeah, we'll be okay. Now, one of the reasons why we certainly would not be doing this at this time of day is, well, yeah, we could end up with passengers getting soaking wet. But the other reason, we are currently on electrified rails with the third rail DC power, and we're spraying water onto it. Normally this thing would be done during the very sort of like, you know, early hours of the morning, you know, during the graveyard shift, so that they could disconnect that power right. So we're fine for this section as we cross the Thames. We have a football stadium coming up here. We are now approaching Imperial Wharf Station. So we need to turn off we can also speed up because we're now in a 50 mph zone. Okay, we're out of the station. We can switch this back on. The next station will be West Brompton. And yeah, we have the football stadium here. This football stadium goes by the name of Stratford Bridge. So yeah, home of Chelsea. You imagine being so desperate a football supporter that you end up supporting Chelsea. Oh dear. And you end up being desperate enough to support QPR next. So we switch that off as we go through West Brompton station. So we're now out of there, we can switch it back on again. So we could speed up as we've got this 60 mph section, but we have 25 mph speed limit as we go through Kensington Olympia. So we are going to have to begin braking. We have to shave off 25 mph, which will put us only just at the right speed for using this thing. Just increase the braking slightly. Okay, so speed wise we're still absolutely fine, only just, but we are fine. In fact, our speed is coming down, so we need to throttle up a little bit, not by a lot. And we need to turn it off now anyway. There we go. As we go through Kensington Olympia station. Not actually sure where the Kensington Olympia building is. I mean, I don't know if that is it. It certainly looks like a pretty grand sort of building, so I'm assuming that is it. It's quite a sizable station as well. I have actually seen one of these things. It wasn't in operation when I saw it, and I think I've just gone through a red light. Yeah, there was. It was quite recent as well. Actually, it was only a week ago. It might be a couple of weeks ago. And also start putting switching our arm back on again. But yeah, it was being towed by a Class 66, and just like our train here, it had a second 66 behind it. And yeah, had the old RHTT in the middle. And one thing it also had, and this does seem to happen quite a lot, the 66 at the front that was pulling it was absolutely filthy. I do mean absolutely. It was in a dreadful state. but the one behind it was absolutely fine. Now we got a 30 mph limit coming up, which is fine. We can do that okay, but when we get to this 20, yeah, obviously that's too slow for us to continue using this, so we will have to switch it off as we go. First of all, up this 1 in 60, that's going to slow us down a fair bit. I don't think it's going to slow us down enough to get us down to 30, but certainly before we get to the 20 mph section, we've got to shut the spray down. So I'll apply slight braking. I think I've overdone it a bit. Yeah, so just 25% throttle and it's too much. There we go. Right, so 13 is okay. 25, yeah, the speed is going up. I did also say in the previous video that I would reveal why I think no one will sort of like really notice the improvement in the visuals for version 2.0 of the Wherry lines. Well, the reason for that, as I now need to shut this off, we've now switched to overhead electrification as well. But yeah, the reason for that is that I have also, since then, got the vegetation enhancement pack. So not only was not only were the visuals improved in the Wherry line, they've actually been improved on near enough every line that I have shown since I installed it, and I installed it about 4, maybe 5 videos back, and no one noticed. Now obviously I was not going to mention it because, you know, I was going to see if anyone would notice it. No one did. So it would appear that the graphical enhancement, which I certainly have noticed, I think it's has improved things no end, but I seem to be in a small minority there. So this is a fairly long section that we can't use our RHTT for, because it's not until we enter this 35 zone here, the other side of Williston Junction, that we will actually be able to switch it back on again. Still on this 1 in 97 uphill climb. It's not slowing us down enough though. There we go, so we're okay now. So this 15 mph section is very short. It's just while we're going over these points and joining the North London line. So that does of course mean going through Williston Junction station, which is, it's a real mess of a layout, this station. It's all over the place, but then it's on about 3 different levels and connecting, you know, about 3 different lines. So yeah, it is a bit of a mess, but it is so through necessity, not just through some poncy design. So we can go up to 20. We have a class 378 there leaving the station. No shortage of 378s on this run. I do like 378, except if you drive the version that comes with the South London network. The audio in that one is just totally unacceptable. So we've left Williston Junction. We are entering the 35 mph zone. Once we are in there, and then reach at least 25 mph, which we can now do, we can then reactivate the old RHTT. There we are. So back on. But yeah, only for a short while as we approach Kensal Rise station. Now also entering a 45 mph zone as well, so we can get a bit more of a move on. This throttle in this thing could really do with a few drops of oil. Right, so it's, yep, switched off as we go through Kensal Rise. And now we can switch it back on again. We carry on towards Bronsbury Park. So yeah, there's a lot of sections where we are then going to have to switch off again. So this part that we are now in, you may recognise from the, I think it was the class 313 I was in when I did that video, as we are now on the North London line. So switch that off again. Here we are at Bronsbury Park. Switch on again. We carry on to Bronsbury itself. Not easy driving it like this, I'll tell you that much. Normally I wouldn't be driving it like this, but well, so Bronsbury, here we are. But yeah, I mean, obviously I wanted to show this thing, you know, operating. So West Hampstead is our next station. So here we are then, this is West Hampstead Station. I think that is the line from Euston Station, the West Coast Main Line there. Our next video, we will be on that line, or at least one of them. So, right, we're into the tunnel, but yeah, switched back on again. Obviously, you can't see it in operation here, but you can certainly hear it. Hampstead Heath is the next station, and then we got to switch off, yeah, pretty soon after we leave Hampstead Heath, because yeah, we are entering a 20 mph zone, so we've got a fair sized gap, and it's not until we are out of Gospel Oak Station that we can begin to apply it again. So we can switch on, but we are soon going to have to switch it off again because we're about to drop below 25. Yeah, we're on a 1 in 98 downhill section here, so it's not easy to keep our speed at a constant like this. So here we are in the 20 zone. Not bad braking. So here is Gospel Oak. We're not heading on to the Goblin Line. Oh, the Goblin Line is that one there, that is then turning around that corner. We are continuing onwards. So we're entering a 45 zone, and we can now speed up a bit, and once we hit 25, there we go, we can switch this back on, only fairly briefly, because we've got to switch off at Kentish Town, and then we've got to slow down again to 20. So I think once we switch off at Kentish Town, there's not really much point in us switching it back on again. Let's say old Network Rail won't be particularly thrilled about that, but so actually it's Kentish Town West. still on this 1 in 98 downhill section, so we may still, yeah, gain speed. So here we are at the 20 zone. I may actually have to watch the playback of this video because I can't, while I'm in the cab view here, I can't see anything. I've got to really watch my speed and the stations that are coming up, and my you know, how hard I'm braking. Right, in fact, we're okay now because we're not on that downward gradient, so we can speed up a little bit, get us back to 20. We go through Camden Road. So this RHTT device, you know, or whatever you would describe it as, this comes with the Just Trains Class 20 Advanced. But as I have very clearly demonstrated, it is also fully compatible with the Class 67. I have not tried it with any other locos, so I can't tell you if it's fine with them or not. So approaching Caledonian Road. Barely look warm. Right. I switched it off a little bit early, but yeah, here we are at Caledonian Road. Right, so switch it back on again, but yeah, we have some really short sections before we're back in stations again. Another 378 approaching. Switch off. I'm going to need to apply some slight braking. And can switch back on again. Looks like I've got the brakes on exactly right. We're not losing speed and we're not gaining it. Except, yeah, it's just got that bit steeper, so I had to okay, so off as we go through Canonbury. back on again. That's another 378. And we can turn the brakes, release the brakes a little bit. We've lost quite a bit of speed here. So Dalston Kingsland is next. Now speeding. Right, let's get that switched off. Right, we're not speeding anymore. I feel like I need about 4 hands to be able to keep like decent control here. Anyway, we can now go up to 45, so let's get a bit more speed up. Hackney Central is the next station. So, yep, off as we go through Hackney Central. And we can go back on again. I won't speed up as we, even though we could, because, yeah, 40 mph once we on the other side of Homerton Station, and then we have a 25 mph limit, which effectively means we've got to switch this thing off. Although we can put it back on again briefly after Hackney Wick. So here is Homerton. So 25 mph limit. So we're going to have to switch this off pretty sharpish. There we go. Right. That looked like 313. First time I've seen an NPC 313. Hurry up and slow down. Oh, that was close. So we have a short section after we leave Hackney Wick where we can speed up. So we're approaching the Olympic Stadium. Yeah, so yeah, short section after Hackney Wick, where not only can we speed up, but we can also switch on the RHTT device again. Okay, there we go. As we cross, I assume that's the River Lee. It could be the Grand Union Canal, but I think it is the Lee. Now, yeah, we could have gone up to 40 mph, but it's really not worth it because, yeah, we've got this 20 mph section here. And we will have to again switch off, and this time it's off for good. Because yep, we are not going to be speeding up anymore. So I can now tell you that the reason I chose this route for showing off the RHTT is because I thought this would be quite a straightforward route to do. In fact, it's, yeah, I had to keep my eye on a hell of a lot. But I have no problem with that actually, it just made it a pretty good run actually. I have really enjoyed this one. We've got to get ourselves down to 15. There we go, job done. Here we are at Stratford. Doesn't matter where we stop here. It's not like anyone's getting off or getting on to this particular train. There we go. So that was Clapham Junction to Stratford via the West London and North London lines in the Class 67 RHTT train. Yeah, that was a great drive. That I really did enjoy that one. I did make a few mistakes, which is hardly surprising given that, yeah, I really did feel like I needed about 4 hands and about 3 pairs of eyes a lot of the time for that. But nevertheless, the only operational errors were speeding 3 times. I thought I went through a red light, but clearly didn't. So yeah, I actually did better than I expected, and better than I thought I had done. So there we go. Yeah, great run that. Really did like that one. So that brings that video to an end, and we will see you at the next one.